My name is Dr. Greenwell Collins Matchaya, and I hold a PhD in economics. Here I'm coordinating the program called ReSAKSS, but I'm also an economist for the International Water Management Institute. The ReSAKSS stands for Regional Strategic Analysis and Knowledge Support Systems for Southern Africa. And for those who don't know what ReSAKSS means, ReSAKSS is a program that exists to support the CAADP implementation. Now, loads of acronyms there, but CAADP means Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, which is a framework agreed upon by all African countries in trying to advance the agricultural sector upon realizing that agriculture is the mainstay of most of these economies. Now, what they realized was that while they had this framework in place, they didn't have a mechanism of monitoring and evaluating the efforts that each and every government was going to venture into in pursuance of this framework. So they came up with the Regional Strategic Analysis and Knowledge Support Systems, of which I am the coordinator for the Southern Africa region. I think, in a nutshell, this is what ReSAKSS stands for: monitoring and evaluation for the implementation of the CAADP program in Africa. In the 2013 year, I can say that ReSAKSS here in Southern Africa did a number of things. So we, for example, organize our work plan in 3 parts. And I think that's the same way I have to try and explain to you in terms of the achievements and the activities that we had in 2013. The first part is what we call the M&E and the strategic analysis part. On this part, we look at how countries have implemented their NIPs, how indicators in each and every country have changed over time. These indicators are related to agriculture as well as economic growth. And then under the other part is under knowledge management. So under knowledge management, we also look at what knowledge products we have produced and where have we put them. And then we have the third part, which is capacity building. Because we realize that all the African countries, and especially here in the Southern Africa region, countries need capacity building if they are to monitor their agricultural sector sustainably over time. Within these 3, what we have done is that we managed to produce or to finalize the 2012 Annual Trends and Outlook Report, which is a documentation or an analysis of what has been happening from the past up to 2012 in terms of agricultural performance. Because one thing we will have to know is that in all these countries, if you go there and ask them about how much they have produced that year, most of them are going to be able to tell you. What they will not be able to tell you in most cases is how they arrived there. So we thought it is very important to be producing this annual trends report for each and every country if possible, and also have another amalgamated report which summarizes the region. So we have managed to produce one which we are calling Intertemporal Trends in Public Investments in Agriculture, but also we managed to produce for the same period country reports for Swaziland, for South Africa, for Zimbabwe, for Malawi, for Zambia, and for Mauritius. We would have loved to produce for the other countries, but we had to focus on that one in the interest of time and also our resources. So that's under the M&E part and the strategic analysis part. Under the knowledge management part, you would be pleased to know that these products that we're talking about, some of them have already made it onto the ReSAKSS website, and some of them we are going to put them there because they are undergoing peer review processes, which I think is an important and integral part of evaluating, ensuring that what we do is rigorous and is credible. And on top of that, with the help of our communications department here, which is coincidentally led by Thokozani, Dlamini, we have been putting a lot of workshop reports on the ReSAKSS website, which can actually be accessible, and I would encourage the readership to go there, look at what we do, and appreciate or ask questions or even participate in this. Then, apart from that, under the capacity building, since we have realized that the countries, as much as they have this comprehensive African agricultural development program or framework, as much as they are pursuing it, they don't have enough capacity to monitor that. Part of our work is to try and build that capacity. So, this capacity is being built either through trainings, workshops, which we hold here, but most importantly, we have embarked on a mission to establish what we call the strategic analysis and knowledge support systems at the country level. So we're starting with a few countries, including Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia. In the 2013, we managed to operationalize the Mozambique SAKSS, so which is the Mozambique, like a short form for the strategic analysis node in Mozambique. And there we're working with MINAC in the Department of Economics. And then we also managed to sign a contract with the Zambian government. Our SAKSS node there, which we call the Zambia SAKSS, is now based at the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock and is supported by the IAPRI there in Zambia. We also moved significantly in Malawi. So in Malawi, we are building capacity to the SAKSS project, which was there, and now we have, by the closure of 2013, we had advanced the processes to an extent that we are now going to operationalize the node in this year. For the 2014 period, we indeed have plans, and we also have some activities lined up in order to achieve the goals that we have set. Like I said, when we're discussing the 2013 achievements, even in 2014, we are going to organize, or we have already organized our work into those three subparts: M&E, capacity building, and knowledge management. Under the strategic analysis and M&E, we are going to complete the analysis of intra-regional trade in the Southern Africa region, with the view of informing the region in terms of the nature of inter-regional and extra-regional trade that they conduct, which countries trade in what, and what are the barriers in trade, what are the comparative advantages of each and every country. Because we think this is necessary for guiding policy and for planning purposes in the ministries of agriculture in the region. This is work that is advanced. We are almost now writing the report, and we could be presenting some of the results at the CADIP, the 10th CADIP platform meeting in Durban, which is coming in March. We could be doing that. If we don't do that, we will still be able to advise our colleagues in as far as that topic is concerned of inter-regional trade. And then we are also embarking on a new research area, which is on achievements of Millennium Development Goals. As you remember, in 2015 is now the deadline for all the MDGs to be achieved. We want to inform countries as to whether they have achieved those, and if they have failed, we will have to come up with some kind of reasons using the data that they provide in terms of why they haven't done so. And more importantly, our work in 2014 is forward-looking. We want to find out or to chart a way forward in terms of what can African countries do in order to become middle-income countries, say by a certain period of time, say in 10 years' time. This is work that I think is lacking in the region. So that's one of the things that we want to do. But under the knowledge management, we also want to have a number of workshops to train and inform experts from ministries of agriculture, from the private sector, and from a multiplicity of other stakeholders in Southern African countries. The trainings are going to be in areas of M&E as well as policy analysis. So we plan to have a workshop on data collection by May this year, and a workshop on reports writing for the countries by August, and maybe by November this year we aim to have a regional dialogue where we're going to coalesce all the products that we have or the outputs that we have produced and then try to disseminate them to policymakers from the region, just like we did last year in Johannesburg. Under capacity building it's kind of be achieved by, in a way, by the workshops, but plus in the SAKSS nodes that we have already established, we want to enhance training there, working hand in hand with the governments there, training in the areas of M&A, areas of policy analysis, and areas of strategic analysis. But apart from the key countries of Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique, and South Africa that we mentioned, for 2014, we also want to start operating aggressively in Lesotho and in Swaziland, and this is because they have advanced significantly in their CADIP processes. They have signed their CADIP compacts. So we will start with capacity needs analysis in each of those countries. The capacity needs analysis is a study whereby we try to find out from the Ministry of Agriculture as well as the agricultural sector as a whole to see what capacities do you have in policy analysis, what capacities do you have in M&E, what capacities do you have in strategic analysis. If they have shortfalls, then we draw a work plan with them to see how we can kind of build their capacities so that they can better monitor their agricultural investment plans. So that's what we are going to do. In a nutshell, this is going to be roughly what is going to characterize the 2014 period. We also realize that we can always do more. So for the 2014 period, we aim to engage more vigorously with the private sector, especially using the SAKSS nodes that we have established in the other countries. And we also want to enhance peer-to-peer learning between these countries. So I know, for example, in Malawi, they're planning, or we are encouraging them and to pursue their plan whereby they want to go and visit countries like Rwanda as well as Ghana, where they're implementing their SAKSS nodes effectively. The reason they want to do that is that they can enhance their view of how the CADIP frameworks, which is called the ASWAP in Malawi, can be advanced. We want to do the same for Zambia and Mozambique. They should be able to exchange notes and look at each other. These are the things that I think we did last year. We took them to Dakar at an agricultural policy learning event, but we think also, instead of piling them in Dakar, they should be able to go into the villages, into the countries themselves, into each other's countries, and look at what is going on there. And there's another part this year which we want to try and emphasize on. After we have produced the country reports as well as the regional reports, it is now our desire and the resolve that we should disseminate them beyond what we did last year. So last year we managed to disseminate them before policymakers, but we did not do much in as far as also disseminating them at country level is concerned. I think this year we will be going to these countries and say, look, this is what you produced. What do you make of this? What do you think is the way forward for this one? And we will also try and do the presentations of the regional reports to the Council of Ministers in Gaborone, if possible, because we think that ministers are a direct link between what we produce on the part of science to what can actually be practiced in the countries there.